Warning: this podcast may contain spoilers as well as coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast of the century, the Our Anime podcast, or I'm told that we're not allowed to call ourselves that, but we're just a podcast.
Screw the rules.
Forget
money.
the rules. Yeah, dude, we do what we want, okay? If no one else is going to step forward and do a podcast for Our Anime, it will be us. We lead this, all right?
We're the real Our Anime podcast. Please stand up.
I'm not going to stand up. I'm sitting down. I'm tired. Okay, so we're here today with the all-star crew. First, we got Fate, Steel, Tomoka Market.
Yes, and your name is?
Oh, I see what you did there. I
get it.
No, dude, I disappeared.
The disappearance of bacon.
Oh, God. You dropped your Sharpie, by the way. Oh, God.
Oh,
no,
I was just trying to write my name.
Oh, no. It's so sad. And we have Luxven.
Mozilla.
But Mozilla Finnegan. This is just my alternate name.
What? You have multiple names?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Wait, then this movie can't be called Your Name. It's called Your Names.
Your alternate
I ruined
names.
the entire podcast.
I know.
I'm so sorry.
There's so many names.
We were literally just going to talk about your name, bro, and now all our planning and outlining has been to waste because you changed your name.
Yeah,
This isn't even my final name.
Oh my God.
His name is over 9,000.
Oh my God. Okay. And I'm a ton of bacon, and I will say that it's been a while since I've cried watching a movie, and this movie is what did it. Twice, actually, in front of my coworkers, which was nice. You know, I didn't have to explain myself there. No, I really didn't have to explain it there. It was cool because we all saw it in theaters together. And I'll be honest, you know, like I watched it before. You know, I sailed the 7 seas because, you know, I'm a bad person. And we all did the same. But when we watched it in the movie theater, it was funny because every time a really like lovely moment would come up, we'd be nudging each other like, "Oh, dude, here's the part." Ooh.
You're terrible.
Yeah, well, we already knew what was gonna happen, but we enjoyed it seeing.
It wasn't to the people next to you. Okay.
No, it was just to us. It was us three, and then our other group of friends who never saw it were like a row ahead of us.
Right.
And so,
okay, I thought you were doing it like right next to the people who hadn't seen it before.
First of all, the people to my right who weren't my friends, they were a bunch of casuals. Because right when the movie started, it was subtitled, and I hear one of his friends go, "I thought it was dubbed," and then my mom's like, "Get the hell out of here, bro!"
Yo, Samurai Champloo podcast isn't until later. We can talk sub for stub then.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But I think so to finish my story, the funniest part about this experience watching it with my coworkers in theaters was. So obviously, Your Name spoilers throughout this entire thing. You know, the part where they were writing the name and then Mitsuha disappears. We were the part. It was funny because my boss, he's very like, you know, vocal sometimes. So when we were watching that moment, of course, we're sitting at the edge of our seats. You know, our hearts are going doki doki, and like right when Taki was writing his name and Mitsuha disappears and the pen drops, my boss goes, "Oh!" like really loud, and the whole theater started laughing, and I started punching him like, shut up, you're ruining the moment, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I knew it was coming, I just couldn't, it's so sad." I'm like, shut up. Oh man, yeah, it was quite the experience, and I enjoyed it, and I would do it again if it was still in theaters. So any fun things you guys experienced when watching it, like times you cried, like what?
So Mo, you go.
Oh, well, I actually also kind of reacted in the same way to that moment. Not on my first watch, but I just rewatched it today, and I knew that moment was happening, and it still just shocked me, like the timing of it, and the way like it just... The way the music is built up, and then it just abruptly cuts off mid-note, and I'm like, oh man, that was so perfect.
And the clicking of the pen as it hit the ground, you're like, shit, damn it, why now? So sad.
I watched the movie. I have not seen the movie illegally yet, and yet I have seen it 5-6 times. I saw it in February at the New York International Children's Film Festival, which was a huge blast because we got to see it like 2 months before I was released nationwide for a broader release.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, dude.
I know,
Ooh.
it was crazy. It was expensive, slightly more expensive than your normal movie ticket, but worth it. Because I love Shinkai. I think I've seen literally everything directed by him, including like his CMs and OVAs, his like Crossroad and like all those stuff. Seen everything except Children Who Chase Lost Voices. So I gotta watch that. So I was like, huge Shinkai fan, gotta see this. Brought my friend along. So none of us knew anything going into the movie. And because it's a film festival, like, we were all giving like a ballot, and it was like 1 through 5 rate how good like certain aspects of it are. And when you see the very opening shot of like the meteor falling, we're like, oh man, it looks great. That's an automatic 5. And we're like in good spirits. But then when we realized the meteor coming down, we're like, oh shit! Like later.
Of course. See, that's one thing I kind of want to go over. I might as well go over now that you mentioned it. That meteor is cool how you don't really realize what that is.
Yeah, there's so many things that I picked up on a second watch that hint at the whole thing. Like the OP basically gives away the entire plot of the movie, but you don't know what to look for.
Yeah, you know, just like other traditional OPs, like, oh, cool, that was spoiled, but like you weren't necessarily spoiled. But the thing is like the meteor for Your Name is kind of like, you know, it's the big like symbol of the entire movie. You see it on the posters, you see it on the cover. I bought the Radwimps original soundtrack, and that's all you see.
But you don't realize what it is until like it happens in the movie.
Yeah,
like why it's important.
Yeah, that's why like the scene where. So the part where they're finally putting their keikaku into action and trying to get everyone out of the out of the mountain, right? And so when they technically, you know, at first they kind of failed because they're like, crap, you know, it's not working. And as the meteor broke into two and started like making its descent towards the village, it's crazy how the entire world was seeing that as a beautiful phenomenon. They're like, wow, this is amazing. No one's ever seen this. No scientist predicted this. Let's all take a moment to absorb this historic moment. And everyone was in good spirits. And the thing is, the music that went with it was really uplifting.
That's what I was going to say. The music, like, it's so beautiful. It's like celebratory.
Yeah, it was. You have like conflicting feelings right there because, you know, I would have felt the same way too if I saw something like that.
But they even say in like the thing, like the chances of a meteor hitting like any part of the world that was like remotely civilized was like less than like 0.1% or something like that.
Oh my god, yeah, I know.
So Shinkai in his interviews talked about how he was inspired to do this after the 2011 earthquake. Because like all his movies before this are pretty depressing. Like I feel like 5 centimeters per second is like a sister film to this. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I have not. I think this is honestly this is the first Shinkai film I've seen. I know that's kind of sad, but I'll check out his other works, and I'll consider myself a fan after this one. But I will check out his other stuff, of course.
You definitely should. I feel like I would almost have recommended people watch 5 centimeters per second first, just because they feel so intertwined. But definitely the tone and shift of his movie, according to him, changed after 2011 when he realized a natural disaster can strike and like tear apart so many lives and families all at once. And he wanted to have more uplifting, encouraging movies because of the tragedy that he witnessed unfold.
Man, that's heavy stuff right there, man. Because I think that's one thing that kind of like tore me up inside was when Taki was looking at the meteor going down, and he's just like, he was so like, you know, entranced by it. But
the first time as a kid.
The first time, yeah. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, dude, you are literally watching your wife die right now.
You don't know if they get married. Well, they might just be really good friends.
Just stop! Don't you dare crush my dreams! Don't you dare crush my dreams. Okay, but point taken. I like how they did that though. Was this entire movie? We didn't get, you know, any form of like the most intimate moments was just them talking, you know, and just like the only time they ever actually made physical contact with each other was when they touched each other's hands.
Oh man, that's so lewd though.
I know, that was very lewd. That's beyond anything I've seen in hentai. But the thing is that I really like how they just centered around that, because all we wanted as an audience was them to just meet each other. I personally just didn't want to kiss. I didn't want to hug. I didn't want to see when we got married, we had children. Which is something I usually want in other anime series, like the time skip. But this one's just like, please meet. You've gone through so much crap.
Please meet. Just whatever you do, just please meet.
Oh my god, yeah. And the part that really tore me up was when Mitsuha went to see Taki in Tokyo.
Oh, and he doesn't know who she is. Yeah. Like before, and then she's like, Taki-kun, and then
don't you remember?
She gives him the ribbon though, and then you realize he's had the ribbon this entire time.
I know, it's so weird.
Oh man.
And like you find out that that's the voice that she was saying at the very beginning of the movie.
Yes. The thing he wakes up to. Yeah. When he wakes up as Mitsuha for the first time and hears Taki-kun, oboete, do you remember me? And that's what she says on the train. I'm like, oh man, this is so good.
I don't remember.
Oh man.
Dude, guys, this is such a fun movie. I had a blast.
Yeah. For me, it was. I never felt the way I did finishing that movie. I did with any other movie, to be honest. Like I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know how I felt at the end. Like, I guess you could say I really was happy. Like, oh god, like I guess you could say my heart felt really light after watching the movie, because I've never seen anything like it. And the thing is that it had the right amount of comedy, romance, and I guess I wouldn't say drama, but that thrill of like, oh shit, that things could go really badly. Because I like the route they took with the whole body switching. The body switching thing has been done before, and I assume in a lot of mediums. But that usually translates to comedy. Like, oh, we switch bodies, now I have to live your life. And it's like...
Well, there was definitely a lot of comedic moments to it.
Yeah, the right amount. It didn't go deeper to where like they had to literally act like, each other, and like they had to trick their teachers and all that stuff. It didn't get that deep into it. It was just to the point where, man, you have a crazy life, and man, you have a crazy life, and quit fondling myself, and quit doing this, and which, by the way, every man who ends up in a woman's body 100% will guarantee do that. Deadass, put money on it. Okay, if you're a guy that says no, I would never fondle myself, you're a liar.
That's 10 out of 10 realism.
Yeah, exactly.
Going back to the film though, can we talk about the ending? Because before I watched it, I was like outside waiting in line. People were like, "Oh, like I'm excited to see this movie. Haven't seen anything by Shinkai before." I was like, "Don't worry. If you need to know anything about Shinkai, it's that he loves trains. Like trains are featured prominently. Trains and train crossings featured prominently through every single work."
I did not know that.
I cannot think of. I think the only one that doesn't is the newest version, the updated version of She and Her Cat. I think that's the only one that doesn't feature like someone actively being on a train.
And isn't that just like a short thing?
Yeah, it's a short. It's 4 episodes of like 8 minutes length each, which was pretty good. The original She and Her Cat, which I think came out in like 1999 or like 2000 something, did feature trains. Everything features trains. 5 centimeters per second. So many trains. Garden of Words. Always, like, the two characters are always, like, on train stations and, like, debating whether or not they're going to go to, like, the place they have to. And then at the train station, they decide not to. And then, of course, here, like, the first couple establishing shots of our trains, Mitsuha meets Taki-kun for the first time on a train. And then, like, they cross eyes on the train. And when the song is playing, the sparkle. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I love Sparkle. I was listening to that today.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
I guess you could say that this entire anime was riding on a hype train. Yeah, thank you. I'll be here until Thursday. Thank you.
When they meet at the stairs and like avoid eyes and start walking away, I have never felt so frustrated with a movie before.
Yeah, okay, that part I didn't understand it, honestly. Like, yeah, they're trying to do the whole build up and like break down the wall between them. But when they walk past each other, I'll see myself like, okay, like there's a reason why you left. You know, you might as well ask. And then he asked, and then that was the end of the movie there, which was a great way to end it personally. But
they said the name of the title in the thing. That gets me so excited. I love it when they say the name of the title in the film.
I know. It's just like any other movie. Like Superman 4. Like, no, he doesn't say that in the movie. The Quest for Peace. Thank you.
These teenagers represent a clear and present danger. Oh, so that's why they call it that.
God damn. Family Guy reference for the win. But okay, let's look at the amount of hype that was behind Your Name when it was on the verge of like being released. So it was like, you know, everywhere, right? And every post was hitting front page, and of course the biggest complaint was just like, yeah, it's great that it's breaking these records, but I'm not a part of these records because I haven't seen it yet. So
you had a lot of salty people.
Oh yeah, well, honestly, how do you get karma on our anime? Act salty. Okay, that's just that's the formula. Okay.
Yo, we just had our best girl contest.
Exactly. check best girl contest. If you want karma, just be salty. They'll never be happy like me. That's why I'm never at the top.
But you can't be too salty, because like if you're salty like me and hate Boku no Hero Academia, that gets you negative karma.
How dare you? How dare you? Get out of my sight.
How dare I hate
get
this
out of
terrible
my
trash of a But anyway, talking about good stuff. You're right, yeah, because it got a limited release at Anime Expo last year.
Okay, so I was at Anime Expo last year, and I missed that. I do remember looking at it in the con booklet. I was just like, okay, what else is there to do? Okay, we're going to the Maid Cafe tonight.
Nice.
It wasn't that great. That's another story for today. And then I saw it said Your Name, Shinkai. I'm like, oh, that's that dude that did 5 inches per second. Oh, okay.
That hurts me so much.
And so like I kept flipping through the booklet, and then afterwards, months later, when I kept on hearing that it was just destroying records in Japan, I was like kicking myself. I was like, dude, me and my buddy could have saw that. We were there, and I'm just like, oh man. And so then again, of course,
I wonder what the line was for that. How the line was, because I'm sure that must have been super popular.
Oh yeah, well, lines everywhere at AX are just horrendous, you know. But I could just imagine like how many people were like creaming themselves watching the movie there, you know, because here's the thing: whenever I watch something like that in public, you know, you're gonna see me, you know, I'm someone that's, you know, big guy, lifts weights, you know, pretty hard, you know, at first, you know, then most girls say, oh, you're like a teddy bear. But if I'm watching Your Name in public, or if I'm watching like some sort of really good anime movie in public, you're going to see me turn very giddy very quick, you know? Like, oh my God, they talk to each other, you know? You see me all like getting jittery, and like, that's how I felt throughout the entire movie. You know, and like, you know, laughing out loud, like, oh, he followed himself, oh yeah, and all that stuff, you know. Which by the way, one thing I gotta mention is, what are your guys' thoughts on Shinkai outside the movie, obviously, handling the amount of, I guess you could say, pressure and fame that was centered around the success of the movie? Like, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, because he was like depressed that the movie got so popular. He asked people to not watch it because it got so popular. I don't know. It's his thing, so I feel like he can just act however he wishes.
Right. I think well, one of my thoughts is that's what comes with the territory. When you have something so successful, or you become something so great, obviously the pressure beats down on you. I think the biggest problem I have with Shinkai's situation is not the whole how can he follow this movie up, or the whole like, oh, you know, it's so popular, people think every movie after this is going to be just as good, if not better. My biggest problem is his comparison, or how people are comparing him to Miyazaki.
Yeah.
They're completely different directors. You don't compare like Wes Anderson to Tarantino.
Exactly.
Just because they're, oh my gosh.
Honk honk.
So first of all, I think it was interesting how he debuted it at AX first, because I feel like he did not expect the hype to be that big. Like, I saw the Violet Evergarden premiere at AX this year.
Oh, you lucky bastard. I wanted to see that. How was that?
It was absolutely amazing, and I feel like it blew my mind. Oh my gosh. So I feel like Your Name probably had a similar reaction. But what I felt from there was like they wanted to release it to like a small subset of fans, but I don't think they could have ever imagined word of mouth getting to the point, right? Like Violet Evergarden has had a huge word of mouth push. Like I think it debuted on Mal at like top 10 for sure. I think it's more reasonably down to 21, given it that only like 3,000 of us saw the first episode.
Yeah, it started at like 9.1.
Yeah.
Good God.
Which is crazy, but the same thing happened with Your Name. And I've read a lot of Shinkai interviews actually because I'm, of course, like a huge fan of his. And what was interesting, and I mentioned this on the Silent Voice podcast, is he seemed, I touched on this at least, that the very Japanese stereotype and tradition culture centers around being humble and not wanting to stick out too much. And it sounded like this was something he was struggling with because he even says, like, this wasn't as good as I wanted to be. We ran into a bunch of budget issues. There was a lot of things that I wanted to make look better that I wasn't able to. And I kind of see where he's going from.
I can kind of tell with not like a few scenes, but just a couple standout moments, like when Mitsuha and Taki they find each other on that crater. That it's like the whole background was like not as good as all the other backgrounds in the show.
Exactly. And when you compare it to like the consistency of Garden of Words and how gorgeous everything, like every shot there looked absolutely
I think
amazing.
Garden of Words looks
like,
better than Your Name.
Exactly. And it was only like 45, 50 minutes long as opposed to this, which was like, what, an hour and a half, almost 2 hours? So I think him knowing that, and when you're like an artist or a creative, he wants to have control over this thing, but I feel like so many people were taking it out of his hands and interpreting things that he didn't want them to interpret, or like exacerbating things, or like it was no longer his project. And none of his other films have gone to that point. And to the point where like sometimes when people would talk to him about like, oh, like how's it feel having like such and such like biggest movie in Japan or like best anime film, he'd be like, can we stop talking about that? Can we talk about like Yamada's Koi no Katachi instead? Because that's a great film. Like he would divert attention away, and I think part of that is like him trying to stay humble, and the other part is like, as you were alluding to, like possibly like just the fear that people are gonna expect him to take the stage and be like the next international phenomenon that is Miyazaki. Right.
Well, the thing I hate most about the whole Miyazaki versus it's like we said, because they're both two completely different directors. Because the joke with Shinkai that a lot of people make about his style is, how do you know it's a Shinkai film? A boy meets a girl. Yep, it's a Shinkai film. Okay, but then Miyazaki, you know, he has romance in many of his movies, but that's always not the big center of it. But here's how I like truly feel about the whole situation with him. He doesn't necessarily need to top Your Name, nor does he need to make movies as good as it that break records, because I feel like Your Name has set the bar so high based off the numbers that it's going to be hard to top in general. But the thing is that he needs to continue to develop his own style of movies, and it basically becomes something greater than Miyazaki. That shouldn't be his goal, but he needs to make himself as a household name. Like I remember my friend showed me, I think he showed me the Garden of Words Blu-ray, and on the back it literally said Makoto Shinkai, the next Miyazaki, and I was like, ouch, dude, that sucks being compared. Because here's my like analogy, or I guess metaphor, whichever one. I like to think of it as kind of like, think of sports athletes. Who's a big sports athlete in the basketball world? Michael Jordan. He's a household name. Everyone knows who he is, right? When you got athletes coming up in the next generation, like Kobe Bryant, when he was on the rise, what do you think people said? Yo, he's the next Michael Jordan. But
Tracy McGrady had to do the same thing.
Exactly. And all these other stars, LeBron James. But guess what? Those guys were able to get so good and make such a huge legacy out of themselves. Now they're their own household names. You know what I mean? So Shinkai, he needs to break that. He needs to become so invested in all of his works and kind of crank them out, not like really quickly, but crank them out like high quality, breaking records, breaking new ground every step of the way, that people will just be like, oh, you know Makoto Shinkai? Hell yeah, I do. And he's gonna be nowhere compared to anyone else. Not saying he's better than Miyazaki, but he's gonna be another household name that people will list off if you were to ask them who are your favorite directors of anime. Miyazaki, Shinkai, Satoshi Kon, all that stuff. Like, you gotta make something of yourself, and that's what happens when success comes your way. So
I feel like he don't gotta do shit. Like,
whoa.
Like,
He's not going to be humble now that you said that. He's going to be like, damn, yeah, I am the best.
No, I'm saying like he doesn't need to like have this manufactured pressure around him. Like, who are we to say like what Shinkai should and shouldn't do, or like if he wants to be the next Miyazaki? Like, the guy seems perfectly content to. While Miyazaki has these grand schemes on worlds, Miyazaki seems to be the opposite, right? So like when I try to compare like, and this is obviously a terrible thing to do, compartmentalizing people. But Miyazaki, I think like fantastical worlds, ordinary people in extraordinary situations, that kind of thing, right? Yeah. Shinkai, I think ordinary people meeting in ordinary moments that are like are made beautiful. So like 5 centimeters per second, very like kind of realistic, gritty kind of work. Not really gritty, but like grounded. Garden of Words, there's like no fantastical, no like over dramatic like space-time things. And even with this was like his biggest departure from that. But at the very heart of it, it's like the idea of love, being able to cross time, and just being able to persevere no matter what. So like he takes these very basic concepts and does it very well.
It makes him like seem like very
exactly
like a lot of focus on them, like such as meeting each other. When you meet someone, or you know, some of you lucky guys out there meet your significant other, it's such a mundane moment when you think about it. But with them, when that moment when Mitsuha and Taki are at the crater and they finally stand face to face, it's like the most intimate, heartfelt moment you've ever seen. God. And it's just a normal conversation. They're just like, you know, hey, you fondled you fondled me, you pervert. He's like, I only did it once. Once? Like, yeah. It's like, okay.
But that doesn't matter. You still did it.
yeah. And that's the thing. Like, that was the most adorable conversation. It's like, that's like something you would see every day and you would think nothing of it. But that moment, he did a really great job of just like, you know, that's all they wanted. And that bonding moment just felt so much more than just them talking.
Right. Yeah.
Until they disappeared in the writing.
Exactly. And oh my gosh.
Which, by the way, I love that piece of info where you do know that Mitsuha was going to write the same thing on Taki's hand, right?
So that's a rumor based on
I like to believe that.
It's a rumor based on what someone said that Shinkai said, which is hearsay and not admissible in court. And secondly, it's based on what she could have been writing, because they were saying like, oh, the original kanji for her name doesn't start with that right to left stroke, but if she was doing so because it doesn't start with that stroke, it probably that it was Daisuke. But someone was like, oh, but she could have been doing it like the hiragana to make it more easy for him to read, so that he knows how to read it and can find her actually.
Oh, okay.
So I think the beauty in it is actually not having a definitive answer. And I think that's kind of what Shinkai's getting at, because we don't know what happens at the very end. We don't know how they move forward. All that matters is that, like, see, the whole point is that they don't even know each other's names, right?
Right.
Like, the details don't matter. It's the feeling, it's the heart, it's the raw emotion that they're feeling as they're growing older, as they're growing together. That's the most important takeaway from this film.
Dude, and the feeling of, you know, that something's missing in your life, which hit way too hard for me. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Like every time they were waking up and you just see it, like they're just like, damn, like another day.
And they don't know what they're missing.
Exactly. That's what's scary. That's what's so scary, man. Like, they don't even know each other. That's saying that they don't even know that they're missing each other in their life, and they're, you know, I think that does relate to life. Like, the less things you do in your life, you never know what kind of people you're gonna pass by that could probably change your life for the better, and sometimes for the worse. That's why the whole train scene with Mitsuha trying to get Taki's attention, and Taki literally ignores her. He's just like, oh, this cute girl knows my name. Well, back to studying. And the thing is, it's like, when you think about it in real life, if someone for some reason knew your name and tried talking to you, wouldn't you be kind of fascinated? Like, hey, you know, like, what if they struck up a conversation and that actually got them closer together? You know what I mean? Or maybe made their journey a lot easier, even though that's not that would be less fun. But like in real life, when you think about it, it's like if we all just cracked our heads up and stopped looking at our phones, you know, you never know what you can miss around you. And I'm not saying talk to strangers or talk to like crazy people on the train. It's just, you know, if you be more
trains
aware. Trains though, I know. Well, I rarely ride trains, you know, I wouldn't know. I just drive by myself all day singing the Your Name soundtrack, you know. So I'm kind of crazy. But I think one thing I took away from this film is with the people that you pass by and you think nothing of it, it's almost kind of weird to think that who knows what kind of connection you're going to have to that person in the near future. Which is why I believe in the whole bonds thing, the musubi thing. Musubi. Which is funny because every time during the movie we were laughing real hard because every time she said musubi, my friend whispered to me, she's talking about the dish spam musubi. Spam musubi connects everyone. And I'm like, shut up. Have you guys ever had spam musubi?
Nuh-uh.
Delicious. Oh, okay. It connects everyone. Trust me. When we're all eating together, we're all happy together. Is there anything in the movie itself that that you think you would change yourself? Anything that stuck out?
How about you, Mo?
I don't know, actually. I mean, I kind of thought about that. Because I'm not a huge fan of the plot in the end when they're trying to save the whole town. I thought that was just more, not as interesting as like seeing Mitsuha and Taki struggle to live their lives as other people. But I don't know how exactly I would change it because it's so, it's such a big part of the movie.
Yeah. I think connected to that was that whole thing with Mitsuha's dad. I thought he kind of played a big role, as in he ruined, not ruined, but, you know, he was just doing what he thought was right and kind of messed up their keikaku and everything else like that. But that was it, because I thought he was going to play such a huge role in terms of tearing Mitsuha away from Taki. But the thing is, no one else around them knew what was going on between them except for the grandma. And so every time they referred to him in the beginning, like, oh, he's the mayor, he's going to get elected again, dirty politics. I was thinking to myself, okay, so maybe this guy is going to end up doing something that will completely make this movie more of kind of like, you know, a sad story or a sad disaster. But all he did was shut the alarm off. All right. Get everyone back in the festival, and that's it. You know, he had no other reason.
I mean,
in the film.
what? I thought he was. So to me, he was really important in multiple ways for Mitsuha's character development. Seeing her background, the fact that he was able to instantly discern that Taki-kun in Mitsuha wasn't his daughter, even though he was estranged, separated from her. When the scene, which was a brilliant and beautiful scene where Taki-kun hits his head in the cavern
and he sees
the life of
Mitsuha.
Life of Mitsuha. Like seeing the struggle that dad had to do, and the fact that he does eventually believe in his daughter when she tells him to evacuate everyone, and we see that later. I thought was important and showed us like the real importance of family and the, I don't know, long-lasting impact that family can have. Yeah.
Okay, that gives me a better perspective then, because I did kind of feel kind of sad when he was arguing with the grandma. He's like, hey, like I married my wife and I don't care about this shrine anymore, and that kind of like tore the family up a little bit.
I think he was just mad because, you know, like grief, you know, hits people very hard. And, like, people struggle with it differently, and it seemed like he struggled with it in a non-constructive way.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. Have you guys looked into the book at all? I ordered it recently, and I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I did order it, but I haven't read it. Because
apparently there's supposed to be a lot more to the story, obviously, because it's an entire book.
Shinkai wrote both the screenplay, the book, and the screenplay and the book.
Yeah. Because there's supposed to be more info on why they were switching in the first place. Because that was we accepted that very quickly. We're just like, oh, Mitsuha yelled that she wanted to be a boy in Tokyo. Here's your wish. And that was it. Like, there was nothing else to it except when the grandma was like, oh, I remember when I switched with someone. But that was it.
Taki-kun they were already switching back and forth before she yelled that.
That's true, because she ended up visiting him
because he was already in her body at the very beginning.
Oh man, that's so crazy. That's so weird.
But I guess technically, because then they were been switching 3 years before, or 3 years later, because Taki. You know what? It's. But I don't know. I really loved this movie. I thought it was really enjoyable. So I was willing to let things like that slide.
Yeah. Side note though. Okay, I know how sake is made. Okay, I understand it's tradition. But dude, when he drunk that, I was like, dude, that's someone's backwash. Man. I know. When he
didn't know. He didn't know.
I know he didn't know, but like right when he like got down and he started pouring it, I was like, bro, don't do it. Don't do it.
I actually gagged a little bit. That was
yeah, it's like what? How old is it? 3 years old?
Yeah.
Or what? Longer?
Something.
Yeah, 3 years.
I mean, wine gets fermented.
Yeah.
Alcohol gets fermented. Whiskey. Actually, what is it? Komuchi sake or something? Komachi, something like that. That actually saw a huge rise in orders in that town after the movie got released.
There you go. Product placement.
So is it actually backwashed by a shrine maiden?
It's not backwashed. It's chewed and
rice. Still.
Yes.
Still.
It's not backwashed.
No, just thinking about it is so weird. It's like you're literally drinking someone's spit.
Yeah, man.
It's not just their spit.
And I've been asked, like, hey, if that was your waifu spit, you'd still drink it. I'm like, debatable, depends who, but the point is it's still kind of gross. Like,
he didn't know it was her.
But no wonder why he got all muffed up, man. When he drunk that and hit his head, I'm like, dude, man, there must have been something. She must have had venom in her saliva, for God's sakes. The fact that you're freaking out, like, oh, I see her life force. I see the bond.
that area was the afterlife. Remember, or like the place beyond life.
It's the bridge between the afterlife, the worlds, which still was kind of like, kind of weird to me. Like, whoa, dude! Like in my mind, I was waiting for like a freaking ghoul to come up and grab him or something like that. Like, oh, you're not supposed to be here. Ah. Like the door from Fullmetal Alchemist. Like I was waiting for that to appear for some reason because they kept on saying, oh, it's the gate to the afterlife. Ooh. Dude, so your name topping Spirited Away. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Spirited Away, so...
No kidding! Well, says the guy who's a fan of Shinkai in general, so it's like,
I mean, no, I really like Miyazaki. I just think Spirited Away is very good.
Is it better than Princess Mononoke?
No, see, the thing is, I think one of the reasons why Spirited Away is so highly regarded is because it was like the first Japanese film to get like a wide American release and reception and positive criticism. So I think it riots off a lot of that, and a lot of the conversation devolves into, but it won an Academy Award. I'm like, actually, I don't even think it was the best anime film to come out that year. I think that honor goes to Millennium Actress by Kun Satoshi.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. It came out same year. I would watch that 10 times over before watching Spirited Away again. Even though I did like Spirited Away, I think I have it as an 8. It was very good, but yeah, no, I definitely, to me, this felt a lot more personal. This was beautiful. I think I want to say it's like my 6th or 7th favorite anime film of all time. So.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen many anime films, so I can't really gauge anything. Well, then again, I still have to finish Kono Katachi, but we're getting off track. Man. The reason why is because I was watching it on a flight, and the flight was shorter than I thought, and I was like, oh god, this was the worst decision I've ever made.
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Kono Katachi tops my list. Then Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, Wolf Children, Tamako Love Story, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Gosh.
Is up there for me.
Okay, so I know, so here's another thing with it. What are your thoughts on it, on not getting nominated for the Oscars?
Yeah, that's fine.
Same, I agree. That's
like, yeah.
I don't really care. I don't have any strong feelings about it.
These critics, like, if you put stock into, like, the things the Oscars, like, nominate and vote, like, that's fine. But to me, it's a bunch of kajiro white dudes who are like gathering around and watching like
that's exactly what I was thinking, to be honest.
In a circle, watching the latest Disney Pixar movie or DreamWorks, and that's purely what they're debating the animated works section from. Like, they don't give a shit about anything that's coming from Japan unless like Disney puts a stamp on it, and then they decide to consider it. Like Madoka Magica, Rebellion, that was sent to the Academy Award. Absolutely brilliant, gorgeous film that the Academy Awards would eat up if any of them had probably actually seen it. I'm pretty sure like voters have come out and said like when it comes to animated movies, they don't consider it an actual like movie or medium to even deign using their time on, so they'll just watch just the Pixar Disney ones.
Fair enough. Well, for me, like, when it comes to any award ceremonies or any award shows, I really don't give a crap. Because, you know, who are these people to set the standard for what's good and what's not?
I only care when it's critics.
I don't even know these critics, you know? Like, who are these guys, you know?
Because though their opinions, I feel like, because they break down, because like it's if you ask football players to rank other football players, they're just gonna vote for their friends. They're gonna vote for their like people they know and peers, people who they think are good without ever watching like their stuff. Whereas like critics, they are paid to analyze film and like understand these things. Do you feel?
Yeah, I can see that. But still, though, like, you know, when everyone was getting all salty that it wasn't even nominated, I'm like, you shouldn't be surprised.
Was it nominated?
It was not. It was not nominated.
Yeah. I was like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
No. Like Red Turtle, Zootopia, and Moana, you know, stuff like that. Zootopia. Well, that's the thing. Okay, that's my only gripe. Is like, okay, how did Zootopia beat this one out? But again, like, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and. It's that whole. I think it's all like completely subjective. Just it's some people don't like the anime style. Or maybe they looked at it and went like, "Oh, this looks like fun," and she's fondling herself. Okay, that's very inappropriate. I cannot get behind this. And then they just crossed it off the list. Like, nope. Here's 0 out of 10. Very inappropriate. And there's a young girl watching another girl fondle herself. That's gonna go in a weird direction. Thanks, Japan. And they just they just cross it off the list.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
Yeah. Oh, so sad. But
yeah, whatever. It's fine. Who needs the Western approval anyway?
Dude, like, come on. We have the worst decision making ever. Our president. Well, it's we're trying. We're trying out there.
I would say the more important thing than the Oscars and the like is that the fact that Kimi no Nine is on the top of my anime list. Kimi no Nini. That's what I call it.
Oh, okay, good. I call it Kimi no Watermelon.
Oh my god.
Kimi no Water.
So wait, it's how high on the list?
It's number one.
Yeah, we the best. Another one.
DJ Khaled.
All right. So let's talk about probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, the goddamn beautiful music. So the Radwimps, they killed it. Honestly, just Zen Zen is just my all-time favorite song.
I thought the music was cutting out in the very first part where like it was staticky and starts like, like the and I was like, oh shit, is this cutting out? Like, is my movie really about to do this?
Yeah, dude. Like, have you seen the music video to that? The actual one?
Yeah.
I just love how the monkeys are in the background praising Harambe when they're clapping. Sorry, I had to mention that. I'm just like, bunch of monkeys in the background. But regarding the music, have you heard the Nande Mo Maya, probably said that wrong, version when Mitsuha sings it?
I have not.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm going to link you that later on. It's freaking beautiful. The thing about the voice actors, I notice on like the My Anime list, this is their first roles.
No, they have been... they were TV 3D, 3D actors beforehand.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But this was their first animated work.
Oh, okay. Still good for them, though.
Yeah.
Like, both of them did an outstanding job.
I believe one of the girls was in an live-action adaptation. I forget of what.
Of Your Name? No, that's not out yet.
Oh, no. Was it Kaori in Shigatsu... Your Lie in April?
Really?
It might have. I'm trying to find it. Hold on. Oh, she was. Yeah.
Losing interest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You won't do it. No balls. You won't do it.
Yeah.
God damn. Any other scenes that stuck out for you guys overall before we close this out?
I don't know. I just really love that montage.
Oh, the montage of them switching back and forth.
Yep.
Like, you ate too much.
Oh, I love that was great, and I love the date that Take-kun goes on with his senpai.
Yeah.
That I thought was really great when you see Mitsuha doing up her hair and then start crying, and then Take-kun like obviously not feeling super comfortable around her.
Yeah, and he looks at the photos of the disaster in the museum, and he thought nothing of it. Obviously, he's just like, "Oh, that's a cool painting," and just kept on going. Dude, I know it's kind of bad. Like, obviously they're supposed to be together, but part of me was like, "Dude, come on, like just ace this date, man. Like, come on, she's amazing, and you screwed up. That's fine though. Man. You still got her, and you're not switching anymore."
But it's interesting to how Okudera, she believed that he was acting that way because he liked someone else.
Yes.
I thought that was fascinating.
Which he did though.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really know it, but I mean, he is attracted to he is attached to Mitsuha.
So
that point.
yeah. Sure.
Okay, so
yeah.
I don't want to, just for the brief moment before we end it, like, I don't want to steer in this direction, but I feel like I'm obligated to have to. On the
You're making me very nervous, Bacon, right now.
It's kind of lewd.
Oh my god, why?
Okay, so
why am I not surprised?
So,
oh my gosh,
don't be you should be surprised. I don't talk about this stuff often.
You were on the hentai pod.
Shh, you don't know that. Shh. No, it wasn't. That wasn't me. That was clearly someone else switching bodies with me, and it was some girl that was on the hentai episode. So, okay, for example, if they're in bed together and they switch, imagine how crazy that would be.
Oh my gosh, why are we talking about this? Should we just end this podcast?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine?
I am leaving this podcast, Bacon.
No, you're not. Get over here. Get over here. Can you imagine how Taki would feel? Like, wow, this is how it feels to be.
I'm leaving this podcast.
Okay, fine.
Dude, there's probably a dojo to that.
What is it? Rule 34?
Oh, dude, that's like the best rule. Just throwing that out there for the audience. Like, it'd just be funny. Like, wow, this is how it feels like to be a man. This is how it feels like to be a woman. No wonder you guys like this. No wonder you guys like this. Whoa. All right, okay, I'm done with there. Anything else?
Oh my gosh.
I pretty much made it pretty bad for everyone. I'm sorry. I had to mention it because I talked about it with my friends. It was the most funniest conversation, you know?
I mean, don't worry about it. I kind of speculated that Mitsuha was jerking herself off in Taki's body at one point.
All right. So they're like...
I mean, I'm pretty sure in the montage they implied it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just speculation, but...
I mean, come on. She had to... At one point, she must have been really confused in the bathroom and end up doing the wrong thing. Like, oh, did I... Oh, whoa. so and on the other end, you know, nudge, wink, wink. That's hot. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. You know, I already forgot your guys' names. Oh God. Oh no. Why am I holding the Sharpie? Oh God. It's so sad. If you guys haven't seen Your Name, which I don't know why you guys are listening to this episode, check it out and stay tuned for our next one, guys.
We just spoiled the whole thing.
Yeah, I know, but you never know. Maybe they just like our voices, right?
Yeah. Our silent voices.
So, you check out that episode. That's a good one. And sad. All right, we're out here, guys. Later.